And welcome, sports fan, to today's Sports Roundtable as we are well into the sports season, into the fall here for 2018, and soon to be, before long, into the 2019 part of the sports season. And high school football now halfway through its regular season here for Missouri, and we've got some results to go to from last night, Friday night in the area here in southeast Missouri, also down in northeast Arkansas. And we had a good one last night in our broadcast, Doniphan-Dexter, which we'll get into the highlights in just a moment, and also get into the replays of that contest you can catch here on YHC over the weekend. And also we'll have a nice discussion with Michael Harrell. He's the Piggott football coach, and they're about, I think, 4 weeks into their season now. And we're going to have a talk with him about their season so far down in Piggott, down in northeast Arkansas, as they entered their 3A3 conference schedule from this Friday night against Manila. And we'll also talk about that victory over Manila Friday night, as well as the season going forward with the Piggott Mohawks. So we're going to touch on that and give you a little preview of the college football games taking place this weekend, and also a little NFL. And in full swing now with high school football in the area. And we'll get a look at everything going on this weekend, and a look ahead in our broadcast schedule here on YHC TV. And first, taking a look at some games from last night, Friday night in the area, and the game that we brought to you live here on Channel 21 last night. We had Dexter and Doniphan, and Dexter getting a dominant victory over the Doniphan Dons, 42-6. No problem for the Bearcats last night. It was pretty much a shutout throughout until late in the fourth quarter, when Doniphan finally got on the board with a touchdown. And Doniphan, their first year in varsity football this season, so they got a ways to go to get to a consistent program. But they've certainly got the kids there. If you know anything about Doniphan, they've got the big, strong kids there, and it'll just be a matter of time before they get a consistent program there. But it's just going to take a little time, but it'll certainly get there over a matter of years. But Dexter having their homecoming last night, getting a nice homecoming victory for the homecoming crowd last night in Dexter. We'll go ahead and take a look at some of the action last night, and taking a look here. Oh, wrong one here. Taking a look at some of the action last night. And here early on, we've got a nice run in for the touchdown. Bearcats getting on the board. They're 7-0, and we see here a fumble on the ensuing kick return by the Dons, picked up by the Bearcats. And now we got a nice run in for a touchdown, another touchdown for the Bearcats, going 14-0 at that point. And here a double reverse, getting swallowed up in the backfield. Nice defense by the Bearcats. Bearcats back with the ball here. And Hoggard out with a nice run on the left side. And opening up the second quarter, we got a long pass from the Dons, converting on second down, a deep play, but unable to put one in the end zone there. As we see here, an interception on the play for the Dons there. And now swallowed up in the backfield. Nice defense by the Bearcat front. And we see here, another good defensive play by the Bearcats, swarming tackles along the line of scrimmage. And we see here Driscoll getting out of the pocket, converting on the third down for the first down. And a little pistol formation here. Nice defense there by the Dons up front. And we see here getting right at the end zone in for the touchdown there for the Bearcats. And nice defense here by the Bearcats. They really had a nice effort up front for Dexter. Here an interception. Nate Gargis picking off the pass down the field. And here a nice run from Caleb Hoggard, getting a nice run out front for the Bearcats. And here a tipped ball brought in for the touchdown for the Bearcats. Kind of a weird play there. And here late in the game, touchdown pass to Nate Gargis, Driscoll to Gargis for that score. And seeing Dexter really starting to have their way with the Dons here, as the Dons get in right at the end zone here, getting inside the 10. finally getting in for the touchdown there. But a fine effort for the Bearcats as they won 42-6 over the Doniphan-Dons last night for their homecoming victory. And taking a look at some other games from the area last night, Piggott with a big 3A3 conference win at Parker Field last night, 68-7. Decisive victory for the Mohawks. And we'll talk to Michael Harrell here momentarily about that game and Piggott football season thus far. Also, Kennett over North County, 40-30. Big win for the Kennett Indians as that was a tough road game for Kennett playing up in class. I believe North County's a Class 4 school. Had to go up to Bonne Terre last night and getting a victory on the road. Nice victory for the Kennett Indians over a Class 4 opponent, North County. And Malden defeating East Prairie 42-32 last night. I expected a lot of points in that one last night. Both offenses putting up some points early on this year, and Malden getting a victory last night over East Prairie. Scott City over Chaffee in a shutout, 32-0. Hayti over New Madrid County Central, 68-14. Hayti dominant victory last night. Both teams coming into the game 4-0, and Hayti moves on with a 5-0 record after last night. New Madrid has been putting up a lot of points, just not this week against probably the best team in the area, especially among the smaller schools, the Hayti Indians. So another big point night for the Indians, 68-14 with the victory. Jackson over Battle, big school battle there as they roll over Battle 60-33. Battle out of the Columbia area, so a big victory again for the Jackson Indians. Farmington over Poplar Bluff 24-7. Poplar Bluff having a tough start to this season. They did get a win over Sumner early in the year, but they've really taken some tough losses. Shutout loss to Sykeston. And now Farmington only putting 7 points on the board. It's been a tough start for the Poplar Bluff Mules so far this year. Crothersville over Portageville, 57-19. Crothersville answering off a loss last week to Kennett over Portageville last night. Sykeston over Cape Central, 21-0. Getting a couple shutout victories for the Bulldogs. One over Poplar Bluff and now over Cape Central in that one last night. And also Charleston over Kelly, big 54-7. Charleston getting a nice victory over Kelly, 54-7 last night. So those are the football games from the area last night. And taking a look at the games that we did here on YHC last night, we had Doniphan-Dexter. You can catch that coming up today later at 12 noon, Saturday at 12 noon. Also Sunday at 4, the replay of that Doniphan-Dexter broadcast here on YHC. You can go ahead and go online to YHCTV.com, watch that on demand there on our website or on our Facebook page. You can watch that anytime online there on those platforms. And also the game we had last night, we showed live on YHCTV.com, Manila versus Piggott, and that will replay Sunday at 7 and Monday and Tuesday evenings at 6:30. Manila versus Piggott right here on YHC. So look forward to that as well over the weekend. And we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be back with our guest. We've got Michael Harrell coming up, going to talk with us about the win last night over Manila and talk about the Piggott Mohawk football season so far. And we're going to come back and be back with Michael Harrell coming up.
A Glen St. story. A few years ago, a good friend of ours ran for a state legislative office. The night of the election, Gail and I had some friends and family over. Our friend won. His young son looked at him and said, "Dad, since you won, does that mean you can make duck season longer?" That's a good story. Best price, best service. Glen St., God bless our troops.
For the best service in air conditioning, it's AirTech Heating and Air in Dexter. They service both commercial and residential customers and provide additional services including plumbing, electrical, and appliance repair. AirTech is a Carrier factory authorized dealer, and currently Carrier is offering cool cash rebates, providing you extra savings towards a new AC unit. Has served the area as a family business since 1960, now led by NATE certified Jason Johnson. He holds the highest certification in the heating, cooling, and refrigeration industry. Call today to get the expert service of AirTech in Dexter.
At Ag Explorer, we're farmers.
And welcome back, and we're now along with our special guest for today. We've got Michael Harrell along with us over the phone, the Piggott football coach down in Northeast Arkansas. And Michael, it's good to have you this morning, especially after a big win last night over the Manila Lions.
Hey, it's good to be here, Tyler. Thanks for having me this morning.
Sure. Got into your 3A3 conference schedule, which one of the toughest conferences you can find in Arkansas, throughout Arkansas. And usually the Piggott Manila game is always down to the wire, tough opponents on both sides. But y'all handled Manila no problem last night, 68-7.
Yeah, the boys come out just hitting on all cylinders. We're finally healthy. We've got all of our bullets right now, and we come out hitting on all cylinders. I didn't expect that. I was really, honest to goodness. I mean, I've been worried all week long about Manila's offense. I mean, they run a lot of RPOs and have a very dangerous quarterback, and they're very well coached. And like you said, Piggott Manila's, it's just always a dogfight. Over the years, we got the same kind of kids, and we match up well. Football's all about matchups, and we just always match up well, and it's always a dogfight. But last night, we come out hitting on all cylinders, scored first play of the game, 88-yard trap play. Gunnar Shaw busted right off the bat. I think we scored 4 touchdowns on our first 5 plays, so we only ran 23 plays last night.
Wow.
And, yeah, I mean, it was just big play, and I just can't say enough about how hard the boys are playing right now.
Sure, and you got off to a good start. You had your non-conference schedule the first couple of weeks. Took a loss in the first week to West Side, but answered with a nice victory over Brooklyn, and then Manila. You got into Manila, and is there another game I'm missing in there?
Yeah, we beat the blue team down the road.
Yeah, I forgot about Rector last week. That was a pretty decisive victory there as well.
Yeah.
So got off to a good start. You're 3-1 to start the year, and now you're getting into your conference schedule. And a brutal schedule as it always is there in the 3A3. Off to a nice start, but I'll tell you that last year might have been one of the most competitive seasons I've seen since I've been around there in the conference. And looks like it's going to be about the same this year with a couple different teams in the mix this year, though.
Yeah, Rivercrest moved up to 4A. Thank the good Lord. We don't have to mess with Rivercrest anymore. They're gone. But and we got the Harrisburg dropped down from 4A to 3A, and Harrisburg, they're playing good ball right now. I think they're 3-1. That's who we got next week. And so Harrisburg's pitched 3 straight shutouts, and so something's going to give next Friday night. I think the last 3 games we're averaging a little over 50 points a game, and they had 3 straight shutouts. And so next Friday night it's going to be a good ball game. Looking forward to the opportunity to play Harrisburg, and the conference is tough. I mean, each week it's going to get a little tougher. We got Harrisburg next week, and then we got Walnut Ridge, who give Newport all they wanted last night. Walnut Ridge was up on Newport in the second half, and Newport ended up pulling away. But then after the Walnut Ridge game, we got Hoxie, who is, in my opinion, probably the best coached team in Northeast Arkansas, if not in the state of Arkansas and in the Boot Hill. So you got Hoxie, and then Osceola, that sleeping giant, has wakened. And Coach Hooks down there at Osceola has got those boys rolling. I think they beat Hoxie last night by 3 touchdowns. And then we got Newport at home. And then we close the season with Corning, and Corning's getting better. I mean, they think they're losing streaks up to 36 right now, but they're being competitive and they're getting better. So, you know, it's not gonna get any easier from here on out. But that's the way we want it. We want to. Our goal hasn't changed. You know, we graduated 11 seniors last year, and all these guys on our team right now. We got 14 seniors right now, and all they've heard about is, you know, what we've lost, you know, and they kind of took that personal, and they're playing with a chip on their shoulder right now, and these guys they're rolling. They're rolling. Our goals haven't changed. We still want to play for a conference championship, and I feel like if we stay healthy, I feel like we can be right in the mix. So, you know, we want a conference championship. We want to host playoff games. We want to win playoff games, and so. I mean, that's what we're working for. And I'm tickled to death the way the guys have come in and matured this fall, and they're working hard.
Sure. Yeah, this is the first time we've talked to you since the season started. Quite a few changes coming into this year, notably your offensive coordinator. Was that Don Simmons that's coming in and working with the offense?
Yeah. Yeah, Coach Simmons, you know, he's out of Kansas, and he's got like 200 wins, state championship, 20 conference championships. I mean, he's a coaching legend up in Kansas. He come down. He's been at Greene County Tech the last 4 years, and then he come here with us to help get us over the hump. You know, like we've won a lot of ball games the last 3 years, but we ain't got nothing to show for it, and we're tired of going into playoffs and losing. And so Coach Simmons has come in and added a twist to our offense and give us a little bit more depth with what we can do offensively, and it's really opened up our offense. You know, you can't just load up 11 guys in the box on us now, because we can do multiple things, and it's coming together. You know, we struggled with it the first week one with Westside. You know, it's something new, it's a new system, and but it's all starting to come together now. Brooklyn, Rector, and then last night with Manila, and what it's doing is, it's opening up our kids. You know, I got a running back. We got right now, he's ranked the number 1 running back, Class 3A, Gunnar Shaw. You know, I think he's had 50 carries for 802 yards this year.
Wow.
And so I mean, he's just, but that's what Coach Simmons' offense has done for us. Though it's just opened us up, and you know, we can rip off some big runs on you if you miss a tackle. So. The kids are excited. Another huge thing with our team this year is our sophomores and juniors, and especially our junior classes. They have gotten a whole lot better. They're not the same bunch of kids they was when they were freshmen, and that's what it's about. You know, we're developing these kids for Friday Night Lights, and you know, we may not have the best product on Thursday nights, but our kids keep developing, and we're winning football games on Friday nights. And so that's our main goal is. And I'm proud of the way these boys are attacking during the week, just the practices and their attitudes and effort in practice. And they bought in. They bought into each other. They bought into the system. And you know, we just kind of reloaded this year. You know, we lost a lot of good football players last year, but you can't tell the difference on the football field right now on Friday nights. And so that's what our culture is at right now. And that's what our football team's doing right now.
Sure. Yeah, we're seeing good performances on the field. The games that we've had down there, including last night, and that offense, you know, like you said, it is opening up. You've got Trey Gossett, the 3-year starter at quarterback. He's starting to get that down and looking down the field, making plays, and Gunnar Shaw also making big plays. So we're seeing some big plays out of the Mohawk offense, and you know, that defense is stiffening up as well, making plays. And you know, it's been a good run for you there these last 2 or 3 years, man. It's you can tell the kids are bought in, they're committed, and the effort shows out there.
Yeah, the kids. It's just the whole town is bought in. The whole town's excited. But you know, it's just a culture. It's an everyday thing. You know, you got to control the things you can control, and that's your attitude and your effort, and that's what these guys have bought into. The last, I guess, 3 years now, And if we keep rolling like we should this year, we're looking at 4 winning seasons in a row, which hadn't happened in 50 or in 5 decades. It's been that long. And so, we're just excited. Main thing, we got to stay healthy. If we stay healthy, we're going to be hard to handle here on down the road.
Sure. We'll be looking forward the rest of the way. We'll be down there for quite a few more games, and looking forward to the Mohawks chasing, up the top of those conference standings and getting into the playoffs once again. And I tell you, that conference is, it's fun to watch. I know for you, it probably will pull your hair out sometimes, but just as a football fan, just watching that conference, there's always about 5 teams that could, you can get 5th place or you can get 1st place in that conference really easily. So it's always fun to see how it all plays out, because one night you see one team beat another by 30 and then lose to 30 by another team, and you just don't know how to explain it. It just happens. So it's a really competitive conference there, and we'll be looking forward to seeing how it plays out. And off to a great start, Michael, and good luck the rest of the way. And we'll be looking forward to going along the journey with you.
Thank you, Tyler. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for all y'all do for us.
Sure. See you, Michael. Take care.
All right, buddy. Take care. Right.
And it's Michael Harrell, Piggott football coach, off to a great start. The Mohawks with a big victory last night over Manila. Usually Manila Piggott games are tough, down to the wire. 6-point games, 3 or 4 6-point games, and the Mohawks just put it on them last night. And again, you can watch that replay Sunday at 7. Watch that replay Sunday at 7, and Monday and Tuesday evenings at 6:30. Manila versus Piggott. So look forward to that over the weekend, and we'll have that available on the website as well at yhctv.com. Probably there Sunday night. We'll probably stream that online as well Sunday night at 7 p.m. And we're going to take another break real quick and be back with our broadcast schedule that we've got coming up for football broadcasts, and give you a little preview of everything happening this weekend in college and pro football as well. So we'll be back with that coming up.
Too. So at Ag Explore, we're farmers too. So we know that farming's never been a 9-to-5 job. Just like the farmer, we work overtime to bring you whatever it takes. Solutions like InZone help you retain 47% more nitrogen, with an overall average increase of 12 bushels per acre. Imagine what InZone can do for you. Ag Explore.
When you connect with high-speed.
And welcome back, and let's take a look at our broadcast schedule we've got coming up here on YHC. Looking ahead to next week for September 28th, Friday night the 28th. We've only got one game next week, and that'll be the Scott City Rams at the Portageville Bulldogs. And that'll be a televised game for the Bulldogs Friday night. Scott City at Portageville will be live here on Channel 21, also at yhctv.com and Facebook Live. We're going to bring all 3 of those platforms to you, Channel 21, yhctv.com, and Facebook Live for next Friday the 28th between the Scott City Rams and the Portageville Bulldogs. So Scott City getting a nice victory last night. I believe that one was over Chaffee, and Portageville had a tough one with Crothersville, but it should be a good matchup between those two next Friday night down in Portageville, and we'll be looking forward to that televised game there in Portageville next Friday night. And hopefully it'll cool down and knock down some of those mosquitoes down there. So hopefully we're out of mosquito season down there in Portageville by next Friday night. And then the following Friday, we've got Kennett at Dexter, first week of October. Kennett at Dexter, that'll be a big matchup here at Charles Bland Stadium in Dexter. We'll have that on Channel 21 online and Facebook Live and YouTube as well. And then the next week on the 12th, our first TriCast in high school football. We pulled off a TriCast last basketball season in district tournament play. And we'll have our first for football. We'll have first of our football TriCast. We're going to bring Park Hill Central at Dexter. That'll be live here on Channel 21, also at yhctv.com and Facebook Live. And also we'll have Malden at Kennett, which you can watch live on the website at yhctv.com. And also Hoxie at Piggott, which will be available on yhctv.com as well. So all 3 games will be available on the website at yhctv.com, and only the Park Hill Central and Dexter game will be televised on Channel 21, and also that game will be on Facebook Live as well. But all 3 on the website, but only the Park Hill Central and Dexter game on Channel 21. So those are the broadcasts. 3 broadcasts on October 12th that we'll be bringing to you here on YHC. Our first football TriCast. We pulled that off back in the district championship night for Class 1, 2, and 3 district finals back in February. And now we're going to bring one to you for football season coming up on October 12th. It's quite an undertaking that we take on, but it's worth it. It was good fun back in February for basketball, and we'll be looking forward to it once again in high school football. And some good matchups there, Hoxie and Piggott. That'll be one of the biggest games of the year for the Piggott Mohawks. They're in that 3A3 conference. And that Mullen-Kennett, Dunklin County Championship there, always a big game between those two, which Kennett's been on the losing end of that battle for a good number of 5 years, where Mullins had their great run, and Kennett looks like they're at the beginning of their run. I'll tell you, these Kennett Indians looking really good, and they could be on one of those runs that Malden went on. Might not see them in potential semifinal state championships consecutively, but you could certainly see a nice run of potential district championships over the next few years out of the Kennett Indians. They've got a great run ahead of them, and looking really good so far this year. And take a look at some college football taking place this weekend. It's getting underway today. Taking a look at those games. And taking a look at the games today, Georgia's on the road taking on Missouri. So that game's actually underway with an 11 o'clock start. And Missouri hosting second-ranked Georgia. That's a tough one. That's a tough one there for the Tigers, but a good matchup there in the SEC Conference for them. So let's see. Nebraska's at 19th ranked Michigan. Nebraska coming off that loss to Troy out of the Sun Belt Conference last week, so expect Michigan to probably win big there, 18-point favorites. 22nd ranked Texas A&M at top-ranked Alabama. That's at 2:30 this afternoon. Alabama, 26.5-point favorites. They're playing a top 25 team, and they're 26-point favorites. Unbelievable. But Alabama's unbelievable right now. They're leading the nation in offense. From an Alabama team, that is just terrifying, because they're usually always a top 2 or 3 defense in the nation, and if they're leading the nation in offense, it's just unbelievable. That's why they're 26.5-point favorites today. But this might be the best Alabama team we've seen, especially with the addition of Tua Tagovailoa and the offense that putting up the best offense in the country. Yeah, it's unbelievable what they're looking like so far. Third-ranked Clemson at Georgia Tech. Clemson 16-point favorites in that one. Tulane at fourth-ranked Ohio State. Urban Meyer back on the sidelines this weekend after his 3-game suspension. Ohio State 37-point favorites in that one. Kansas State at 12th ranked West Virginia, and that's at 2:30 this afternoon. We've got 17th ranked TCU at Texas. TCU only a 2.5-point favorite in that one. Might be a game to look forward there. Both teams at 2-1 on the year. Let's see here. Got 14th ranked Mississippi State at Kentucky, and Mississippi State only 9.5-point favorites in that one on the road. And at Kentucky, big win a couple of weeks ago over Florida, so that might be an SEC matchup to keep your eyes on later today at 6 o'clock on ESPN2. 14th ranked Mississippi State at Kentucky. Texas Tech at 15th ranked Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State 14.5-point favorites in that one later today. Arkansas, poor Razorbacks, are on the road to 9th ranked Auburn. Auburn 30-point favorites in that one. Arkansas Razorbacks having a tough year so far. North Texas really laid it on them last week, and kind of humiliated him at the same time with that fake fair catch. Well, not even a fake fair catch, just kind of a subtle punt return for a touchdown. And the Razorbacks gets a whole lot harder, a whole lot tougher with the Auburn Tigers this weekend. And 7th ranked Stanford at 20th ranked Oregon, and that's tonight's 7 o'clock ABC game. Stanford 2.5 point favorites. 18th ranked Wisconsin at Iowa. Iowa undefeated at 3-0. Wisconsin took a loss last week at home. Took a loss at home. 18th ranked Wisconsin fell at home last week. Wisconsin only 3-point favorites in that game this evening. Also, Arizona State at 10th ranked Washington. Washington 18-point favorites tonight. And those are the matchups, big matchups, top 25 matchups later on today. Let's see where Southeast Missouri State is on the road taking on Eastern Kentucky. You can catch that on ESPN Plus at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Southeast Missouri. SEMO's at 2-1, taking on Eastern Kentucky at 1-2. And take a look at Sun Belt Conference for Arkansas State. And Arkansas State hosting UNLV later on tonight. You can catch that on ESPN3 as all their games. At Arkansas State, that's at 6 o'clock tonight. Arkansas State 8-point favorites against the UNLV Rebels this evening. So a pretty good start for our local teams. Arkansas State at 2-1. Their only loss coming to the top-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. Not a bad resume there, even though they did take a thumping. But there's going to be a lot of teams taking thumpings from the Crimson Tide this year. So Arkansas State at 2-1. SEMO at 2-1 as well. And hopefully they'll fare well in their seasons this year. You're looking off to SEMO's got a pretty good quarterback, pretty good offense this year, and Arkansas State looking pretty good early on as well. So looks like our local teams might have a pretty decent year this year in college football. And quickly take a look at the NFL games, and big game on Thursday night. Boy, if you didn't catch that, and it was on NFL Network, so you had to have an NFL Network subscription there, but the Cleveland Browns snapped their, I think, oh my goodness, they went winless last year, and I think they were up to about 20-some-odd games losing streak, and it was like 600-some-odd days since they'd won. Unbelievable. But Baker Mayfield come in the second half. Tyrod Taylor went out with a concussion. Baker Mayfield, rookie quarterback, top overall pick, come in. They were down 14-0, end up winning by 4 points. I think it was 21-17 victory for the Cleveland Browns. What a night. Sam Darnold and the Jets struggled in the second half, and it was just Baker Mayfield's night. Came in and scored some points, even got a touchdown reception on a 2-point conversion reception for the score, 2-point conversion. And Baker Mayfield looks like he's going to be the starter for the rest of the way for the Browns, almost assuredly, the way he played the other night. And the Browns might actually have a decent year. They started out, they had that first week tie, then a loss last week, and now their first victory of the year. So look out for Baker Mayfield. I think that area has begun in Cleveland, starting from Thursday night. Big games this weekend. NFC South matchup, the Saints out the Falcons. Both teams 1-1. Falcons 2.5-point favorites at home in that one. 49ers at the Chiefs. The Chiefs 6.5-point favorites. And look out for Patrick Mahomes, second-year quarterback, first-year starter for the Chiefs. 10 touchdowns in his first 2 weeks, and we might be looking at an MVP candidate in Kansas City this year, the way he's gotten started. And against that 49ers defense at home, he might light them up as well. So we'll see what happens. But Patrick Mahomes definitely probably leading the pack for that MVP only after 2 weeks. So off to a great start. Let's see what other games we got. Raiders at the Dolphins. We've got the Colts at the Eagles. The defending world champion Eagles coming off a loss last week. Carson Wentz going to be back in the starting lineup after missing the first 2 games with a knee injury late last year. So he'll be back in the lineup. Philadelphia 7-point favorites in that one. The Packers at the Redskins. Green Bay's 3-point favorites in that one. Bengals at the Panthers. Carolina's 3-point favorites. The Broncos at the Ravens, and the Ravens are 5.5-point favorites at home against the undefeated Broncos, but they've snuck by with a few of their victories in Denver. So we'll see what happens in Baltimore in that one. The Giants at the Texans 6-point favorites there. Chargers at the Rams. Battle of the LA teams there, and the Rams are 7-point favorites over the Chargers. The Bears at the Cardinals. The Bears at the Cardinals in Arizona, and Chicago 4.5-point favorites. Cowboys at the Seahawks, and Seahawks are a 1.5 favorite. Kind of surprised there. Seahawks are 0-2, and they're going to be without quite a few players. I think they got quite a few players out as well, but the Cowboys didn't look bad Sunday night against the Giants. The Patriots at the Lions in Sunday Night Football on NBC. The Patriots 7-point road favorites over the Lions. And Monday Night Football, the Steelers at the Buccaneers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are 1.5 favorites. And Buccaneers got a little intrigue around that team now with Ryan Fitzpatrick off to a great start for the Buccaneers, and the Steelers. Tough season so far. They took a big loss last week to the Chiefs, and the tie first week with the Browns. Not a great start. And against the hot Buccaneers team, they could keep the Steelers from getting their first win of the year. So we'll see what happens. So full swing in high school football. We didn't get to the other fall sports. Busy morning this week getting things together. So we'll be touching on more fall sports going forward. And again, watch those replays of high school football that we brought to you live last night. Doniphan-Dexter coming up here Saturday at noon, also Sunday at 4. And you can catch that online at yhctv.com and Facebook page. And also Manila and Piggott. Catch that Sunday at 7, also Monday and Tuesday nights at 6:30. Also, we'll have that streaming live Sunday at 7 on yhctv.com. And that's all we've got for you for today, and we appreciate you for tuning in always. Appreciate Michael Harrell calling in and talking to us about their game last night and their season so far. They're in Piggott, off to a good start at 3-1 on the year. And we'll be looking forward to you next Saturday right here on YHC once again. And until then, I'm Tyler Wagner. Have yourself a great weekend. Take care, everyone.